So what do you feel on the matter of teacher tenure?
What even is tenure?
What do you think about teacher tenure?
I think that teacher tenure provides security for teachers who do their job well, and they certainly deserve that. And I think that it does sort of provide an incentive for consistency and for job loyalty. But I also think that tenure allows teachers who have it to slack off. And for the most part, people who become teachers do it because it's what they love and they genuinely do their best to always be engaging. But there are the occasional teachers who really take advantage of the fact that they're tenured and assume that because they have that privilege that they can do whatever they want, and they really don't respect their class or the material they're meant to be teaching. And I think for that, it should be under sort of more strict scrutiny than it is. And I know it's difficult to get tenure, but I think that teacher evaluations should really be done in a serious way. That if a teacher who has tenure is not performing adequately, it really needs to be taken into consideration, and they shouldn't be overprotected.
Perfect, thank you. Again,
Let's whisper to each other first.
do you guys think Mr. Gurney is deserving of tenure?
No.
Jake?
He has to step his game up. Hasn't been so sharp lately.
I think tenure is like baseball, and he's on third base.
Someone's got to knock him in.
Yeah, maybe it's you guys.
What's your name?
David Schwartz.
And what do you think about teacher tenure?
I think that teacher tenure should not exist, and if it does, then there should be much more restrictions on it. Because as it stands, it can make teachers complacent. I know that not all teachers are, but if we want to enhance education, I think that tenure should either not exist or have many more restrictions and take longer to get.
Okay, what do you think about teacher tenure?
So I think the thing about tenure is that as an idea, it's good, but the issue is that teachers with tenure might be sort of disincentivized to continue to put all their effort into teaching, because they know that even if a new teacher came in who was better at his or her job, then that person would be let go first, and then the tenured teacher wouldn't have to put as much work in. But I respect the idea of tenure because it makes sense that if you work in a certain place for a long time, you get priority over somebody who just got there. So I think it's a tricky topic, but it can create some issues. Yeah.
Okay.
So, do you have tenure?
Yes.
And what are your opinions about tenure?
You should all want teachers to have tenure, because even if tenure protects one bad teacher, which I don't believe in the myth of bad teachers, I think that that's something that's like the mythical bad teacher, like the mythical unicorn, so that everybody can get together and rail against teachers. What you don't understand about tenure is it protects the whistleblower, and that's why you want tenure. Because if one person pulls out corruption or bad things that are happening in the school system, or stands up and fights for something that other people aren't going to fight for, tenure protects that person. And if you get rid of that, people will get fired for speaking their mind and for standing up for people, and so they won't do it anymore. And so you'll have a system that is completely lopsided, and where one person has way too much power, or a group of people have too much power, and there'll be nothing that you can do to fight that system.
Brad, how do you feel about teacher tenure?
It's an interesting concept. It definitely has its ups and its downs. Very positive side of it, it's really great that this thing exists to encourage teachers to do a good job and then to keep teachers teaching the same school. But I think that tenure is often like overused and given out to too many teachers. From what I understand, it just takes a few years for any teacher to get tenure, and then they're pretty much invincible. I had a teacher in high school who once said, quote, "I could throw you out the window and I won't get in trouble because I have tenure." And I had a different economics teacher who once said that he likes his coffee like he likes his women black, to the black girl in the front row. And I'm pretty sure you just get away with that because he has tenure. So I think it's good, but it oftentimes gets overused and abused, and I feel like that schools should reevaluate their standards of giving tenure and things like that in order for it to become a successful thing in the future.
Teacher tenure was introduced in 1886 in Massachusetts because women were getting fired for getting married, pregnant, wearing pants, or staying out too late.
Sorry.
1, 2, 3.
Arnold Schwarzenegger tried to introduce a law called Proposition 74, which would extend the time before teachers got tenure, but the teachers' union fought back and the law was voted down by 55%.
Go.
Rubber rooms are a place where incompetent tenured teachers are paid full salary for doing nothing. In 2010, New York State closed them, taking 600 tenured teachers out of their jobs.
1. Teachers become lazy because they know their jobs are safe. 2. It's really easy for even underperforming teachers to get tenure. 3. Tenure makes it difficult for younger, better teachers to keep their jobs. 4. Firing tenured teachers is often expensive. 5. Teacher tenure does nothing to promote the education for children. Go.
1. Teacher tenure prevents teachers from being fired for non-work related reasons.
Go.
2. Tenure attracts teachers to the profession because of the promise of job stability.
Go.
3. Tenure helps create innovation in teaching. 4. Tenure protects teachers from getting fired for teaching unpopular or controversial topics. 5. Tenure allows teachers to safely disagree with administrators.